Hi, my name is Antonia Hernandez, and this is going to be my assignment for Module 3 in Sociology. In this module and this assignment, we are going to be discussing dramaturgy and why life is like a stage according to dramaturgy. This was a theoretical term that sociologist Erving Goffman turned into a sociological term. So we're going to start by discussing what dramaturgy is. The actual theoretical term of dramaturgy is argued that elements of human interactions are dependent upon time, place, and audience. Then the sociological perspective that is used in microsociology accounts of social interaction in everyday life. So the twist that sociologist Erving Goffman added to this was that he used the term to mean that social life is like a drama or stage play. So since birth, we are ushered to the stage of everyday life. So our socialization consists of learning how to perform on that stage. So we studied ourself in the previous chapter. We have ideas of how we want others to think of us and how we use our roles in everyday life to get these ideas across. Goffman called our efforts to manage these impressions that others perceive of us as impressions management. We are constantly working on impression management, even though we are not really conscious or aware of it. Such examples are when it comes to like first impressions, so the first day that you go to college, when you get ready for a job interview, or when we have special occasions, or when we're meeting new people. So these roles we play in everyday life, we think we're just doing things, not aware that we are currently actors on a stage who manage impressions. We do most of our impression management on front stages, which is where we kind of do the roles that are assigned to us. So everyday life, it could be an example of a front stage. So it would be where the teacher lectures us, or when we were, especially when we were younger, or when I was a child, I know that I would wait until my parents or my mom was in a good mood to tell them bad news. An example is when I was a child, I took my brand new camera that I got for Christmas to school, and I left it in my backpack. While I didn't notice, I guess someone stole it from my backpack. So I was scared to go home and tell my mom. I waited until she was in a good mood to go ahead and let her know that. We also have backstages, which are places where we step away from performing all day basically and let our hair down. So an example might be when we go in the restroom, close the door, or take a long shower and just shut the door, or when we close the bedroom door, for example. Along with everyday life bringing many statuses, it also brings around role performance, which is the particular interpretation that you give a role. So like your style. So consider how you play your role as a son or a daughter. Maybe you are the ideal daughter or son, which is being respectful, coming home at the hours that your parents set, and happily running errands for them. Or this description might not even be close to your role performance. Sometimes our statuses are separated enough to where there is no conflict in role performances, but occasionally what is expected of us in one status is not what is expected to us in another status. This is what is known as a role conflict, which family, friendship, student, and work roles come crashing all together. We manage to avoid this role conflict by segregating or separating our statuses, although this can be a huge juggling act. So it can be, for example, you as a son, friend, student, worker, you have to visit mom, go to friends' parties or friends' events. As a student, you have to prepare for exams, or if you're a worker, there might be situations where you have to stay in to work late or come in early. This would be a role conflict. You as a student, an example would be doing well in your classes and don't make other students look bad, and that would be considered a role strain. So the difference between a role conflict and a role strain is that a role conflict is a conflict between roles. So it was the first example, like friend, daughter, and worker. This role strain is a conflict within a role. So you would want to do well in your classes, but you wouldn't want to make other students look bad if they don't know as much as you do. We're going to move on to sign vehicles. This is what we use to communicate information about ourselves. So there is 3 types of sign vehicles. There is the social setting, our appearance, and our manner. The social setting is where the action unfolds. So this is where the recording goes up on your performance, where you find yourself on stage playing part and delivering lines. This social setting can be an office, a living room, a bar, anywhere where you want to interact with others. The social setting is the scenery, for example, what you use to communicate messages, such as desks, blackboards, scoreboards, the couches, and so on. The second sign vehicle is your appearance, or how you look when you play your roles. One is your hairstyle. How do you communicate messages about yourself? Your appearance also includes props, which are the scenery that they expect to decorate your body rather than the setting. The most obvious prop is your costume, which is your clothing. You switch costumes as you play roles, wearing different clothes for different events. So what you wear to work wouldn't necessarily be what you wear to sleep. Or if you go swimming, you wouldn't wear a bathing suit to go to certain events. This appearance lets others know what to expect of you and how they should react. So you should think of messages that these props, or for example, your clothing communicates. Some people use clothing to say that they're nurses. So usually if you see someone wearing scrubs, you think they're a nurse or a doctor or something. Lawyers usually use the suits and the ties. There may be some clothing that makes other things your prostitutes. So in the same way, people choose cars, brands, or the latest technology to convey messages about themselves. And the body itself is a sign vehicle. So its shapes proclaims the message about selves. The meanings that are attached to various shapes change over time. And the third and last sign vehicle is manner, which is the attitudes that you show as you play your roles. So you use these manners to communicate about your feelings and your moods. So you might be angry, you might be sad, you might be in a good mood and feel like joking around. This is when you indicate to others what to expect as you play your roles. The important thing, or the fascinating thing about the roles that we play, is that we tend to become the roles, into those roles. So it becomes incorporated into our self-concept, especially the ones that we prepare for long and they become everyday things for us. An example might be Ellen Cuba. She was a nun that quit being a nun to become a sociologist. So she already knew about role exit. She interviewed people who left marriages, the military, religious things. And just like she experienced herself, the role became so intertwined extensively with her self-concept, or their self-concept, that when they left that, their self-identity was threatened. So these people questioned with, who am I now that I am not what they used to be? So it becomes part of your better person, and it can linger or stay after you have not been in that position. We are going to go on to discuss the social construction of reality. So the definition of this is what we learn from others or from our social groups to which we belong. We learn ways of looking at life. So in short, through our interactions with others, we construct reality, which is we learn ways of interpreting our experiences in life. An example of this in my own life will be when I went to Mexico last year. My mom is from a really rural place, so they made food, and we went to go have like a day out. and they didn't take anything to heat up their food in. What they do over there is there's a lot of dry cow poop laying around. They go ahead and light that up and use it kind of as charcoal. So even the tortillas, they go ahead and heat up on dry cow poop. When I told them, no, that's really nasty, it's not safe, what they said is that that's what they grew up doing, that's what they always used, and it would be fine, that nothing would happen. I am now going to explain what I think holds sociology together. So sociology is the study of social life, change, and the social causes and consequences of human behavior. So I think that the structure of groups, organizations, and societies of how people interact with each other is what holds this together. A group consists of people who interact with each other and who feel that the values, interests, and norms they have in common are important. So the groups to which we belong to, such as social class, status, and roles, are really powerful in our life. So when we belong to a group, we assume the obligation to affirm the values, interests, or what they consider their norms. And then we kind of share those characteristics and we follow those.